Hey there, everyone. It's Blair here with Time Trades. Thanks for joining me for another video. This one is really exciting for me. I'm going to be talking about a new feature we just added that I am calling the juice, and I think you'll see why. Now, you may hear a little excitement in my voice, and that's because I'm really excited to share this with you. I think you'll see why. But just before I get too far ahead of myself, like any other stock or crypto indicator, it is not perfect. It gives very interesting signals, very timely signals, very important signals. But again, I can find lots of examples where it did not work or it didn't do what I thought it would do. So just keep that in mind as I go through some of these examples. But let's start by talking about exactly what this thing is. So this is designed to be a leading indicator of incoming energy. It's based on solar system states and geometry. So it's very deterministic. There's not a lot of, in fact, there's no funky manipulating of numbers or anything to get this. It's very simple math that has led to the creation of this indicator. It also tends to be very spiky, as you'll see. In general, you can expect a price reaction within 0 to 3 days on average of a spike, although I've seen some other timeframes as well. These spikes in juice do tend to correlate with short and medium term lows. However, not all short and medium term lows correlate with a spike, right? And you'll see what I mean as we go through some examples. The lows in juice are important as well. So this tends to indicate a minimum baseline level of energy. And this is also included in the probabilities that Time Trades displays of future projected pivots and big moves. So that's the intro. Let's take a look at, here's a static screenshot of what it looks like when it's turned on. And you can see the pink circles I've added to indicate spikes in juice where there is a typical relationship where it does tend to indicate a short to medium term low within 0 to 3 days. So you can see here there's like 4 in a row where it has tagged almost to the day the low in the QQQ. Now, it isn't always that reliable and perfect. There's times here, for example, in April, where there was a weak reaction to it. And also in early May, another very weak reaction. So right now we're in a period of very low activity on the juice indicator, but there is another big spike coming up on June 24th. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this video out, to share that information with you. Let's take a look at another example of what I'm talking about. When you squish the timeframes together and look at juice over a long period of time here, again, we're working off of the QQQ. This is what I mean by a relatively elevated baseline. Okay, so we're looking at the time frame from about June 2019, covering the COVID low here, through to November 2020. And you can see here that it never gets down to 0. 0 is right at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so even the low levels of juice are well above 0. So that means there's always some activity here. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this indicator. As you can see this huge spike here. Yes, it tagged the COVID low to the day, March 23rd. It's 100% deterministic and predictable. This is not back tested or curve fitted or anything. So this kind of correlation makes me really jump up and take notice and pay special attention to this thing. And you can see other nice examples here of spikes in the juice that correlate with short and medium term lows. Okay, so let's switch over to time trades and take a look at this in real life live here. Okay, so I'm going to start by showing you just how to turn it on and off. It's under settings. It's the first item under settings. Okay, so we're looking at the spiders and we're going to turn on the juice. I'm going to leave GAN waves off because it does. I just want to keep the screen as simple as possible. All right. So let's just go through this and walk through this a step at a time here. Okay, May 4th, spike in the juice. And you can see the actual numeric value over here as I wave my mouse. J, it might be too small to read, but there is an additional number here in the open, high, low, close for price. When juice is turned on, you'll see a J. And that also works in the future. So I can scroll over here to the right and it says J 9.32. And I scroll over all the way here to where it's 0 and it says J 0.0. Okay, so anyways, that's the numeric value of it. And we can see here how the last couple of spikes have tagged these lows to the days. And sometimes it isn't that perfect, but it does tend to work well. Now, what seems to happen as I observe this is, and by the way, I'm still learning how to interpret this thing. So don't take my interpretations here as written in stone. I'm still learning how to best interpret this indicator. So I'd love to hear from you what you're seeing on these charts and the correlations that you're seeing here. So it kind of has a magnet effect, to be honest. It pulls price down, and this is the most common behavior I see with it. It pulls price down into a juice spike, and then it's like a trampoline. It like boosts it up. So you get that injection of energy, gets enough for a good 2-3 days. And in this case, it was a short-term movement. Here's another one, okay? So here's this red candle the day before the juice spike. The next day, the day after the juice spike, we get a nice big green candle there. So that's a nice reaction. Over here, you can see this relatively significant low, okay? So juice spike tags that one exactly. Over here, we can see another significant low. Juice spike tagged that one exactly. And over here in December, tagged again. So, I mean, it looks like a perfect indicator, right? But, you know, there's still examples when that relationship breaks down. Here's one here, October 20th in 2020. Big juice spike and nothing happened, right? So price goes sideways for 3 days and then breaks down, okay? The other kind of behavior that I tend to see here is sometimes it'll when it ramps up gradually, price will sometimes follow it, right? So this is an example of one of those gradual ramps of juice. It's not a sharp spike, but it's more of a multi-day ramp, and price tends to follow that. So this is another kind of behavior that I've noticed in it. What else here? I haven't noticed anything with respect to the duration of the reaction. Like here's a very short-term reaction, right? This is like 2 days, okay? We get a juice spike, then we get a reaction, and then it's over within 2 days. So I can't really draw any conclusions about whether it's going to be a multi-day or a multi-week price reaction to the juice. Still trying to figure that out. Here's a period here where there's a series of spikes over, what is this, roughly a month, less than a month. 1, 2, 3, 4 all come in. So, you know, this looks, I mean, it's easy in hindsight, of course, but, you know, knowing that we get this consistent influx of energy over this time period, it looks like a very good time to be bullish. Now, the other thing here that's interesting is as we move forward into August of 2020, the level of juice backs off quite a bit. And then, but the price still is coasting up here, okay? So there seems to be like this, coasting effect, if you will. So after you get this big boost of energy, this injection of energy, things can coast on up for a period of time until that energy wears off. Now, I haven't figured out exactly how long it takes before that energy wears off, but that does seem to be kind of the behavior in certain periods of time. All right, what else can I say? As I scroll back in time here, you know, here's another great example. And this is why I say there tends to be a reaction within 0 to 3 days, because in this case, we've got day 0, day 1, day 2, day 3, and then we get our reaction, right? And this is kind of an example of our juice decline. Here's a steady declining juice, okay, and price follows, right? And then we get the spike that arrests the fall. This is the COVID fall. So that spiking juice kind of tags the COVID low to the day. And then we get the energy we need to resume the uptrend. Now, one of the things that we can see here when we squish the timeframes together is we can see that there's a period of relatively elevated baseline juice, like I was talking about before, right? It never really gets all that low, right? Doesn't go down to 0 for, you know, over a year. Whereas when we scroll forward to the right here, you can see we're starting to tag 0. Like the baseline level of juice right now is a lot lower than what it used to be, okay? And if we look ahead to, you know, February next year, 2022, there's like an entire month where there's no juice at all, right? Which probably explains why Time Trades thinks there's high probabilities of down moves during that time, because there's just not the energy that we're used to seeing. Okay, so I think it's a good time for me to just pause here. I'm going to stop recording. I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments or on Twitter about this new indicator I've discovered. How is this helping you? How are you interpreting it for your trading? Everything that I've said so far on this video, even though I've been using spiders as an example, applies equally to crypto. So those of you that are crypto traders, everything I've said also applies to that as well. All right, so let's get the conversation going on this thing. I am really excited to share this with you. Big boost in juice coming up June 24th. Keep that in mind. So let's see if we can play the volatility that everyone sees incoming this week, and let's see if we can trade this successfully in a nice, profitable, and low stress manner. Okay, thanks everyone. Take care, and thanks for using Time Trades.